everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. You all are so nice. I'm sitting here in the couple of minutes before we start, and you all are saying hi. I really appreciate that. Ed, Jay, Rich, Lawrence, Suzanne, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. This is going to be kind of a short one, but I'm just going to show you how I negotiate my way on a typical chord change solo thing. And we've decided we're going to take this piece of music, and when we finish today, we're going to make an MP3 and attach it to the video. So come back in about a half hour if you want to the video and just download this MP3 if you want. It's going to be pretty cool. So here is the chart. And it's basically D over E to A over E to E twice. And that happens 4 times. And then B minor to D, D to A. And that happens 2 times. Okay. And then we go back to the main part. That happens 4 times again. And then it has this nice turnaround, which is just G, sits there for a while, F sharp minor sits there for a while, and then F major 7th, and that sits there for a while. Now, the reason I write a simple chord chart like this, it's because it shows me how simple the song really is. Because if I get involved in it and I'm playing, sometimes my mind will trick me and I'll think, this is really kind of complex, and where am I supposed to go and what am I supposed to do? But when I see it here, it kind of sinks in. And also, if this is in front of you, and nobody else has to see it, of course, you can kind of turn your mind off and go, oh, there's the F major 7th, I know what to do there. So it's a really nice thing to have in front of you, even if you know the song, even if it's familiar. It's a really, really nice thing. You can actually turn your mind off and stop remembering because this thing is in front of you. It's really, really a cool thing. And I write music on purpose with twists, and this has some very, very definite twists. This F major 7 requires me to play in E Phrygian, and I rarely play in Phrygian. This B section right here, I really have to pay attention and sort of use a D major tonality here, and then I have to land on an A tonality there. Now, in the body of the song, I can actually do E pentatonic major, E mixolydian, but also E minor. So it's kind of free. You can get bluesy in this part of the song, in the main part. And then over the G, I can play E minor. Over the F sharp minor, I can also play E minor. So as you learn a piece of music, you actually discover there are different strategies you can use in the same places. And I'm just going to kind of show you that. So let me talk and play for a second. Also, guys, the biggest sale of the year is on right now in the Masterclass. If you're into it, click the link. It's our best sale of the year in the Masterclass. We started yesterday. It's a Black Friday sale. It's lasting all weekend. But let me dive in and talk while I play and show you my strategy here, because that's what this particular video is about. It's about, what goes on in your mind and how I, negotiate these chords. And there's twists. There's stuff you have to pay attention to. There are landmines. It's, you have to pay attention. So, E pentatonic major. The 5-note scale. Now if I want, I can go into E mixolydian. The 7-note scale. Now, B minor to D, D to A. So I try and play to those chords when they happen, because it's a slightly different tonality. Now back to E major. I can slip an E minor here too. Now the G chord comes, I can play E minor totally. And stay in E minor for the F sharp. Now I have to do E Phrygian. Now let me turn the music off and just talk about a couple of these things. So in the body of the song, E major pentatonic works great. Here, let me turn off my delay while I'm showing you this without the music. So in the body of the song, E major pentatonic and E mixolydian. And you can kind of cheat a little bit and play E minor too. I mean, I would use it sparingly. Okay, so now we go to the B section. It goes B minor to D, D to A, and I like to play to those chords, so I might really do. And so here, B minor and D both share that triad, and then I drop to A for the resolution. And that goes around twice. Then I go back to the head, and it's E major. And then the cool turnaround at the end, when it goes to G, I can stay in E minor. And then when it goes to F sharp minor, it's kind of cool. There's several options. I can either stay in E minor, or I can play A mixolydian, or I can kind of do an F sharp minor pentatonic shape, which is really A major pentatonic. And then when it goes to F major 7, I have to do E Phrygian. So that you know, you can't cheat that last chord. So let me go through it one more time talking, and then I'll take a couple of questions. So B minor to A, then landing on an E. And dropping in a minor third. Actually, it's kind of cool here and there. Now, this E minor thing here. Over the G. Now, F sharp. And now E Phrygian. And then back to the tonic. And for tone on this, I'm using the bass pickup, which is definitely my favorite. The neck pickup is my favorite pickup for soloing, totally. Then I actually like to go to the treble, but not stay there too long, because it always seems a little brash for me. I really, really do like the neck pickup. And I have my super sweet on. In fact, Nigel, let's go to the other camera and see if I can keep the wires straight, and I'll show you a view of the gear. So the only thing on right now is this super sweet. It's a really, really great boost for solos. Then I'm going through the divided by 13, right? Into my 412 cabinet through microphones and a Neve mic pre. But that's really it. Now you can see the session and the chat. And I have a little Echo Boy up in Pro Tools because I really, really like to have delay, which I turn off when the music stops. And then there's the song, and there's me playing over the song. And then there's the chart. And that chart, you know, if you just go glance at it once in a while, it can really, really be a help. So that's the setup today. Very simple, very basic. Now let me turn this so you can see the guitar again. And I'll dive back in and talk and play a little, and then I'll check on the chat and see what how everybody's feeling today. Definitely mixolydian. But sometimes the 5-note scale really is the best, just pentatonic. Now B minor. Now A. It's really that simple. B minor to there and A there. Now back to E, and I can go minor. Landing on the F sharp. other thing, wherever you are and wherever you have to actually change scales and chords, it creates kind of neat stuff. Like I was right here on the A, and then the band went back to E, and I just came up here, and that was my solution for adapting to the new chord changes. Hey, I'm glad you like the sound. It's kind of my favorite sound, just that kind of half distorted, sort of broken up thing. It's really cool. Yeah, I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. This is going to be a really, really short one today because I have to run off and I have family in from all over the country. I have to run off and take some people out today. So we have good weather, so it's really, really going to be fun. Yeah, Jerry, great question. Why E Phrygian instead of F major on the final chord? You know, I don't know why. We should explore that. You know what it is? It's the chord change in front of it and in back of it. So if we're dropping down, and then we have F sharp minor, and then we have F major 7, my ear knows that we're headed back to E, and that's why it is. It's the context. It's the chords that are before it and the chords that are after it that create the actual decision to do E Phrygian. Because if I tried F major 7, there'd be one wrong note in it, and it's this B flat note right here. It's definitely E Phrygian to my ear, because I know, you know, my mind remembers that this song is based in E, and all the departures from E are temporary, and they're all headed back to E. So I think that's the best explanation I can give you. And one more reminder, we're having our best sale of the year on the Masterclass. Click the link below, take the free trial. It's a Black Friday sale, best one of the year, and we're doing it all weekend. So check it out if you want. Oh, Rigel, if that's how I pronounce it, you like my high watt. Yeah, the high watt's a great amp. I am going to keep this one. I had 2 of them, and I sold the other one, but high watts are great for, you know, putting fuzzes in front of them. Very simple sounding amps. You have to turn them up to make them distort. But I've always loved the military look of a high watt. Really, really British military. The most military British looking amp I think ever made. The other thing in a song like this is the more space you leave, the better off you are. And you should never forget to use every range on the guitar. I can be down here. I can be up here. And then wherever you are, take advantage of your landing spots in the new key. Now, here's the G major. Here's the F sharp minor. And I'm going to try and do F major 7. See, that's the reason why I don't use F major 7 right there, is that you test that note, which is part of the F major 7 scale, and it doesn't work. So it's context and us knowing. We all really know that this is in E, and that F sharp is a half step away from the E, and we're going to land on E. It's kind of, you know, kind of instinct, and we all kind of know it. Yes, Moment of Truth suggests that we visually see the chords. I'm seeing them all the time, and even on the A section, I'm seeing them. Seeing the B minor, seeing the D, seeing the A. Now also, sometimes I see the E, A, D here. I'll give you a demonstration. So if I go, sing, D, A, E. You see these shapes everywhere. And then you can break the rules. I can play E minor here. I can play play E minor here. So here's another thing that I haven't brought up yet, is through those last three chords, you can just play E pentatonic minor through the last three chords. In fact, let me see if I can get in front of them. Gotta find them here. And check this out, E minor pentatonic only. I mean, to me, that's pretty magical, that you can really, really ignore the chords and just drop into being B.B. King for a second and play E pentatonic minor. I mean, it's pretty magical that you can create rules and obey rules, but you can also ignore rules. Pretty cool. Dripping Glass is asking if I ever play a step down like Hendrix. Once in a while I do, and it's really cool. There's kind of a new consensus out there from a few people that it's pretty nice to tune your guitar down a whole step. I mean, you certainly get a really, really slinky feel, but it can go dark and it can fret out. There are some issues with it, and it's also harder to keep in tune. But correct me if I'm wrong, but Hendrix only went down a half step. He played an E flat his entire career. But there are people out there right now who've suggested D, a whole step, being desirable. And I've done it on acoustic, because if somebody asks me to do like a Clapton-style solo on acoustic or a blues solo on acoustic, I'll tune it down a whole step, because the strings really do get friendly at that point. Because you guys know acoustic is really an intense thing, especially if you're trying to play blues and pulling strings. Yeah, so this is about shapes. You want to see the chord shapes everywhere you go. You want to play blues whenever you can. You want to, play a 5-note scale, a 7-note scale. Let me jump in one more time. Also, remember to leave spaces. Gives your hand a rest, also gives the audience a rest, makes you sound tasty. And I like to play in time, and this is a shuffle, you do triplets, but I also like to step out of time. But you have to make the landing really, really confident. You step out of time. It's those last three notes that are really, really crucial. And when you step out of time and you're ignoring the groove, you always have to keep in the back of your mind that I need to make a safe landing, a musical landing. I think this is B minor. Over to A. Back to the tonic. One string playing, as always, is good too. So guys, thanks so much for joining us today. Click the link if you want to check out the masterclass, but I'm going to get ready to drive over to Pasadena and see a place called the Gamble House, and it's just a block away from Lee Sklar's house. So I'm actually going to text Lee and see if he can come out and walk the dog and meet us at the Gamble House. I'm not expecting it, but I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to play out, guys, and I really, really appreciate you joining me on this. I hope it was informative. It kind of shows how to, yeah, and I always write these songs with some twists in them so that they're simple for a while, but then there's something you really have to pay attention to. I like just throwing in a couple of complex things, a couple of things that take you out of the key and into a new key. So here I go. I'm going to play out. You guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll keep seeing you in these live streams. I love them. Appreciate the support. Suzanne, thanks for joining us. Rich, everybody, Ed, wonderful David. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, guys, have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great holiday.